A loner rancher named Garrett Thorne had lived alone for 8 years, talking more to his horses than to people, eating cold beans from a can, and watching sunsets with nothing but his thoughts. Then one day, just 20 feet from his cabin door, a stranger collapsed, blood soaking his torn shirt, breath shallow, eyes glazing over. Garrett was chopping wood when he heard a horse stumble and crash. Kneeling beside the man, Garrett caught the desperate whisper, "Please, my wife, Celeste, she's all I have left." Garrett looked around the barren landscape. No woman, no second horse, just endless rocky terrain and a silence so deep it made him question his own mind. "Where is she?" he asked, but the stranger's grip on his shirt tightened. "Come in behind me, maybe an hour, maybe two. Promise me." Blood bubbled at the corner of his mouth. "Promise me you'll take care of her. She's got nowhere else to go." Garrett hadn't wanted complications. His solitude was everything. But the man's voice cracked with urgency. "She's special, but she's also dangerous. People want to hurt her because of what she knows." Those words hung in the air like smoke from a dying fire. Garrett felt cold, a chill crawling up his spine. What kind of woman traveled hostile lands with secrets deadly enough to kill for? The stranger pulled a small leather pouch from his jacket. "Give this to her. She'll understand. And whatever you do, don't let her open it until she's ready to tell you the truth." Garrett took it, feeling the hard weight inside, metal, maybe a key. Before he could ask more, the man's eyes went blank. His hand fell away like a broken branch. The distant thunder of hooves stirred Garrett from his thoughts. Riders were coming, fast across the Badlands. He had just promised a dying man to protect a woman he'd never met, a woman carrying secrets worth killing over. He'd inherited more than a wife. He'd inherited a mystery that could either save him from loneliness or destroy everything he'd built in these mountains. The question was, which would Celeste choose? She appeared out of the dust like a ghost, riding a black mare, dark hair whipping, dress torn and stained with dried blood. But it was her eyes, wild, desperate, unafraid, that froze Garrett in place. "Is he dead?" she asked, dismounting with practiced grace. No tears, no hysteria, just a cold, matter-of-fact question that sent a shiver down Garrett's spine. "Yeah, about 10 minutes ago." Garrett kept his hand near his gun, unnerved by her calm. She knelt, placed a hand on the body, whispered something Garrett couldn't hear, then stood, brushing dust from her skirt, eyes piercing his. "Did he tell you about me?" "Said you were his wife. Said you needed protection." Garrett's grip tightened on the pouch in his pocket. "Said people want to hurt you because of what you know." A flicker crossed her face, fear, recognition. "What else?" she asked. "That you're dangerous." She laughed, but it wasn't funny. Henry always had a gift for understatement. Dust clouds rolled on the horizon, riders closing in. "How many men can you handle, Mr. Thorne?" she asked. "Garrett Thorne." "How many should I be worried about?" "All of them." Celeste strode to her horse, pulling a rifle from the saddle, checking the chamber with fluid, rehearsed movements. "They've been following us for 3 days. Henry thought we could lose them in the mountains, but they're closing fast, 4, maybe 5 riders." "What do they want?" Garrett asked, but Celeste was already moving toward the cabin, rifle ready. "The same thing everyone wants when they look at me. To own me." She glanced back, and for the first time, genuine fear flashed in her eyes. Garrett felt the pouch's weight like a stone. Henry had said she was special, but also dangerous, and looking at her now, holding that rifle, scanning the land like a seasoned scout, Garrett was beginning to understand both truths. "There's a root cellar behind the cabin," Garrett said, making a decision that would change everything. "You can hide there." Celeste positioned herself behind a wooden post, rifle aimed. "And neither should you, unless you want them to burn everything you've built." The riders crested the hill, 5 men in long coats, faces shadowed beneath wide-brimmed hats. Even from a distance, Garrett saw the way they sat, professionals, dangerous, killers for hire. "They want to hawk first," Celeste said quietly. "They'll try to convince you I'm worth more alive. They'll offer money to hand me over. If I refuse, then we find out what kind of man you really are, Garrett Thorne." The riders were close enough now to see their cold eyes, faces carved by cruelty. But what terrified Garrett most wasn't their guns. It was knowing he was about to find out what Celeste knew that was worth killing for, and whether he could keep a promise to a dead man. The leader raised a scarred hand and called out across the dust, "Afternoon, friend." Name's Clayton Morse. We're looking for a woman. Dark hair, green eyes, riding with a man named Henry Walsh. Garrett stepped forward, rifle loose in hand. Haven't seen anyone like that. Morse's smile widened. Now that's interesting, because we followed their tracks right to your door. He pointed to the ground, hoof prints in the dust, and Henry Walsh's body, lying lifeless by the woodpile. Celeste whispered, "He's Bureau Federal Marshal. The others are bounty hunters." Federal Marshal. That changed everything. She wasn't just dangerous, she was a criminal. Garrett had just promised to protect her. Morse leaned casually on his gun. The woman's wanted for murder. Multiple murders. There's a $5,000 reward, dead or alive. More money than Garrett had seen in 5 years. Enough to buy better land, better livestock, maybe even hire help. All he had to do was step aside. What murders? Garrett called out, but Celeste tensed beside him. She killed a judge in Santa Fe. Shot him dead in his own courtroom. Then 2 deputies trying to arrest her. Cold-blooded. Morse's eyes never left the cabin. She's not the kind you want around decent folks. Garrett's mind raced. Henry said people wanted to hurt her because of what she knew. But maybe the truth was simpler. Maybe she was just a killer running from justice. She's lying to you, Morse added, as if reading Garrett's thoughts. Whatever story she told you, it's all lies. That's what killers do. Celeste's breath was steady, but her knuckles whitened on the rifle stock. The judge was taking bribes, she said quietly, selling verdicts to the highest bidder. I had proof. Then why not turn him in? Because he owned the sheriff. Half the territory, really. Her voice was bitter. The only justice in that courtroom came from my gun. Vigilante justice. Maybe she was a hero. Maybe a killer. Maybe both. Time's wasting, friend, Morse called. Hand her over and we'll be on our way. No trouble. You can keep the reward. If you were Garrett, what would you do? Trust a woman who just admitted to killing a judge, or hand her over and claim the money? You tell me. The wind picked up, carrying the scent of gunpowder and death, and more riders thundered in the distance. Garrett made his choice without hesitation. She's not here, he shouted. Whoever you're tracking kept riding. The lie hung heavy like smoke from a gunshot. Morse's smile vanished, replaced by cold calculation. I hoped this would be easy, Morse said, raising his hand. His men spread out, encircling the cabin. Then the first bullet shattered a wood post inches from Garrett's head. Celeste was already moving, rifle barking, taking cover behind a water trough. One bounty hunter pitched sideways off his horse, clutching his shoulder. The root cellar, Garrett yelled. But I can't hide, Celeste called back. They'll burn us out. Bullets whizzed past Garrett's ear as he ducked behind his chopping block. 5 men against 2, bad odds. Especially with a federal marshal among them. But watching Celeste, Garrett understood Henry's words. She wasn't just shooting. She was calculating, each shot precise, forcing enemies to scatter, buying time. What are you waiting for? Garrett shouted during a lull. Back up, she said, reloading smoothly. Henry sent word. If we hold 10 more minutes, back up from who? People who know the truth about Judge Morrison, Celeste said, firing again, taking out a horse. People who've been waiting for someone to stand up to Morrison's operation. That word hit Garrett like a punch. This was bigger than a fugitive chase. Morrison's not just a marshal, Celeste said. He's been working with that judge for years. Fake trials, bribes, even murders. Anyone who tried to expose them disappeared. The leather pouch in Garrett's pocket burned like fire. Evidence? The pouch? He asked. Judge Morrison's ledger. Every bribe, fake trial, and murder covered up. Henry stole it before the trial. That's why they're chasing us. Thunder rumbled, but it wasn't thunder. More riders, at least 10, coming fast from the east. Even Morse's men looked nervous. Last chance, Morse shouted. Hand over the woman and the evidence, and we'll let you live. Celeste fired another shot, dangerously close to Morse's head. What happened next would haunt Garrett forever. Morse signaled his men, and suddenly they stopped trying to capture Celeste. They shot everything, water barrels, supply sheds, even Garrett's horses. They weren't after Celeste anymore. They wanted to destroy Garrett's life, punish him for choosing the wrong side. 8 years of hard work went up in smoke and splinters. Sometimes doing the right thing costs everything. The new riders wore badges, real ones. Their leader, a weathered man with gray hair and eyes like flint, called out, By order of the territorial governor, you're under arrest. Morse's face paled. What the hell is this, Davidson? This is justice catching up W.